Hi, welcome back to the 28 Days to a Healthy You Masterclass number 2. This is your coaching portion of the program. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, here we are, 28 Days to a Healthy You Masterclass number 2. This is the coaching portion. At this point, you should already be into your app and hopefully moving along. Some people do choose to wait a week or two, or I've even had people that will go through all 4 weeks of the coaching before they start using their app. And that's not an issue. You can do it whichever way works best for you. Let's just do a real quick overview of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to go over what's going well. We'll be doing that every week. We'll talk a little bit about challenges and coaching around obstacles and what you can do. We're going to discuss bumping yourself to top priority, and we've done this before in some of our other programs. We're going to talk about how to identify high energy foods for your body. We're going to learn how to honor hunger and fullness. And then we have some exercises such as chewing exercises and your breathing exercises. And lastly, we'll go over your action steps for the week and your ahas and your appreciations. So, what's going well? Remember, this is something that you are proud of trying or doing in the last 7 days, no matter how tiny the effort is. All our sessions start this way, so I'd like you to write down what went well over the last 7 days that you're proud of. It will act as a motivator to help propel you forward. You'll only want to put it down in the positive, no limiting factors or negative self-talk. Then once you're done writing it down, I would like for you to sit and acknowledge how it felt. Do you have a surge of energy when you write down what's going well? And you might have 1 or 2 things. You could have multiple things that you feel went well in the last 7 days. Put them all down and spend a moment and spend time feeling, does it make you feel good? How do you feel? Does that extra energy help you make better decisions about your health and your body? When you are focusing on what's not going well, you do tend to make poor decisions. So, what's going well? Stop the masterclass now and list that down. What's going well and does it make you feel good inside? Okay, so you're back. Let's go over the ground rules. What does coaching allow you to do? Well, it helps you to close the gap from where you are today and where you want to be. It will point out your limiting powers. It will help you to learn to hold yourself accountable, no more excuses, and no more talking bad to yourself or talking down to yourself. It will push you outside of your comfort zone. It will help you to focus on what's right for you and the rules of the game. I would like for you to listen to your daily hypnosis. I would also like for you to continue listening to your motivational speaker for 30 minutes a day and to show up with a pencil and paper each week. Lastly, make sure you're logging in your app, that you're paying attention each day and you're logging the pieces in your app. Those are in there. They're just for you. I can actually see them, but if you don't want me to see them, it's not a problem. You have the ability to make it so that I don't. So let's talk about challenges or obstacles that sometimes get in your way. Did you follow through on all your action steps last week? Were you connecting with your anchors each day? Did you do that 10 times a day so that you're starting to get your anchors to become habits? Because right now you're having to think about those anchors and make yourself do it. Force yourself to go back to those 5 things that you've chosen to start getting them to become natural and have that feeling that when you, whatever your anchor is, you do, and that gives you that feeling of power, the in control, or that you have the ability to accomplish the goal, however you're forcing that anchor. So did you connect with those anchors? Did you clear the clutter? Did you get some clutter out of your schedule? Did you start getting some of the physical clutter out of your life? How are you doing with your water? Did you get all the way up to half of your body weight in ounces? Or are you still working towards that? If you haven't gotten there, please keep doing. And lastly, this one was fun. Did you get the 20-minute meal completed on all 3 meals? Or were you able to spend 20 minutes eating your oatmeal or whatever it is that you're eating, actually? So if you're able to answer yes to all of those questions, congratulations, you've done an awesome job. And if you answer no to any portion of them, then ask yourself, spend a moment, what stopped you? What steps can you put in place over the next 7 days to accomplish those goals? Okay? So remember to let go. Sometimes learning new habits means letting go of something that we've always had and that we feel comfortable with in order to create a new habit and a new coping mechanism. Ask yourself, what's slowing you down or standing in your way? And what's stopping you from getting what you want, right? Is there something that's preventing you that you haven't paid attention to that we need to clear that clutter out and get it out of the way? Ask yourself what needs to change, okay? What do you need to put into place over the next 7 days in order to make that happen? Simple as that. So let's talk about learning to let go. Sometimes learning a new habit means letting go of something that has been a comfort or a coping mechanism. So ask yourself what's slowing you down, standing in your way, or stopping you from following through right now? What needs to change? Learning to let go. We have to be honest with ourselves that something's getting in our way. And sometimes it's that it's comfortable and we don't want to let go of it. We psychologically like it there and it's uncomfortable to let go. But acknowledge that it's there, and then you have the ability to start saying, well, no, that's holding me back. I'm using that as an excuse. I'm letting it stand in my way and prevent me from getting from where I am today to where I need to go. And therefore, all you got to do is put one little action step in place each day in order to move down the road and start letting go, okay? Sometimes we want great big results fast. And we imagine that means pushing ourselves as fast and as far as we can go. But we often end up failing that way because we're going so fast forward, hard tilt, that we wear out, we burn out, we just don't have enough energy. We literally cause ourselves to fail. So just remember, a small action step each day is going to get you there actually faster than trying to go at 90 miles an hour. Small hinges swing big doors. Slow and steady gets results, right? Put us in the hair. So consistent follow through is what will get you the results. The minimum follow through. Ask yourself each week, what is the minimum follow through that you can commit to that would have you feel really good about what you're accomplishing? So when I give you action steps at the end of each week, if that's too many action steps for you, then choose one and work on what will work. You can add the others in as you go. Just because I have this set up as a 4-week program does not mean you can't do those action steps over 8 weeks. What's preventing you from follow through? What, if anything, might stop you or prevent you from accomplishing your goals next week? So make sure you write that one down, that you're always watching for that. Each week, you look down and you say, what's going to get in my way? What do I need to look at my schedule over the next 7 days and make changes so that I am ready to commit and able to follow through on these things? And it could be as simple as I need to get a pitcher to put water in so that I'll remember to start drinking it, instead of telling myself, oh, I'll remember, and then actually not. So what do I need to change? And what's the minimum follow through? Don't make it hard. Lastly, put in place. What do you got to put in place to set yourself up for inevitable success? Do you need to tell the people around you what you're working on and what you're doing and get them to join in, cheer you on, ask you how you're doing, be your supporters? Okay? Next challenge. Here we go. So you bumped yourself to top priority in order to become a non-smoker, right? So now it's time for you to use that same thought process to build a healthier you, which of course you're already well on the way to becoming healthier. So practice bumping yourself this week to top priority. That means that your follow through is like a sacred appointment that can't be canceled. You're likely going to be tested by rationally important deadlines or someone needing you or an excuse, right? We all come up with a reason, and a lot of times it's a very, very good reason, but you have to push yourself to top priority. Your health and your life will be better if you're in your best condition so that then you can take care of all those people around you. So building healthy habits. You'll be asked to do things a little differently than you've done in the past. And keep in mind that you're going to learn from that. If you don't like what it is or it's not working, you can change it, you can adjust it, but don't give up, okay? Quitting is the only way you fail. Continuing to move forward with a simple action step taking you in that direction each day, and you will succeed. This week, you're going to put yourself at the top of the priority list. Are you willing to commit to that? Hopefully everybody's saying yes. Okay, let's go to the next one. So we're going to shift gears, and this one's new. So we're going to talk about high energy foods for your body. What is a high energy food? Well, they're foods that give you energy versus take it away. The more energy you have, the better you're going to feel, right? You'll feel uplifted and more confident. You're going to be more motivated to take care of yourself. You're more conscious of the choices in your everyday life. You have low energy, you feel tired and lack energy, and you make poor choices, and you just feel real slumpy, right? So how do we identify the foods that are robbing you of energy? Well, it's actually fairly simple to do. So this is going to be one of the things you're going to do this week. So take some notes, because I do want you to be able to focus on it. I want you to start making supportive choices for yourself, okay? So that they can become what you do, not just a question of, oh, what should I do? Where you have to ask yourself a question. We want them to become a habit. This means that you're going to start choosing foods that nourish you and that make you happy and provide energy to your body. When choosing foods that nourish you, they should provide you your highest vibe and frequency, and without being destructive. So let's discuss. Foods that rob you of energy, that make you feel sluggish. Like for me, mashed potatoes. They make me feel sluggish. Now, I may love them, but they make me feel sluggish. They don't give me my highest vibe. They don't mean that I'm nourishing my body. And I literally start working at a lower vibe and make poor choices for myself, because they're taking energy away versus giving me energy, okay? So which foods do you tend to default to regularly for a quick pick-me-up or quick satisfaction? Are they foods that are adding energy or taking energy away? If your pick-me-up food is a bag of potato chips, are you really getting energy from that food? If your pick-me-up food is an ice cream or pretzels or cake, are those adding to your energy? Are you feeling stuffed and overfull and low on energy? So how do you feel when you eat sugar, things filled with sugar? How do you feel when you eat a bran muffin? How do you feel when you eat a whole wheat bagel? Or whatever is heavy and robbing you of energy? And what emotion do you associate with that food? Do you feel a little sluggish? Do you feel like you want to go take a nap? Do you wish you didn't eat it? You feel full, like maybe you wish you only ate half of it? Do you get maybe a sugar rush for a short period of time, and then all of a sudden you need to take a nap, or you need a coffee in order to try and counteract it? So write this question down. When you eat blank, you feel blank. So when I eat ice cream, I feel tired afterward. When I eat ice cream, I feel bad, like I did something wrong. When I eat ice cream, I feel happy for 30 seconds, and then I feel all those other things. Well, write this down. When you eat blank, you feel blank. And then I want you to start identifying this week foods that rob you of energy so that you'll know which ones are taking from you versus giving to you. And you can fill them into these holes very simply. Simple as when I eat broccoli, I don't feel heavy. I don't feel weighted down. I don't feel like I need to go take a nap. I have energy. So is there a time of day also that you tend to go towards these foods? Is it as you get to the end of the day, you make decisions all day long? So you're tired at the end of the day. So by the end of the day, you've made, 800 to 1,000 decisions in a day. Your mind is tired and it's not necessarily going to be firing and making the best decisions. So sometimes it's not a good idea to wait to plan what you're having for dinner to when you get home and you're tired and you don't want to cook, you don't feel like it, the children are there or not. Either way, you're tired, you're not making the best decision. So you order a pizza or you stop by the carryout or you zip in here, and while you're in there buying healthy food at the grocery, you pass, in my case, you pass the ice cream section. So of course you got to buy some ice cream. Or you don't even pass the ice cream section, you just go there. So you make poor decisions for yourself if you don't plan it at the end of the day. So one of the things that I do in order to make good decisions and choose the foods that give me energy versus the ones that rob me of energy is I make my plans in the morning. I know what I'm going to have the rest of the day. So stop the masterclass now, and I want you to think about the foods in your life that rob you of energy. And I want you to make a list of 10 of them that you can think of, and then fill in the sentence. So when I eat mashed potatoes, I feel sluggish. Okay? Do that for each one of them, and then come back. Okay, so you're back. So food raises your serotonin levels in the brain. So we feel good. But, so here's an interesting thing. Serotonin is the feel-good chemical. It brings about a feeling of contentedness. It brings about a feeling of, allows us to relax, that we feel relaxed. So when I say that, think about your stress level on a scale of 1 to 10. What is your level throughout the day? Do you have a very busy household and so it's very stressful all day long? Are you at work and that's a very busy day all day? You've got people coming in and out of your office or lots of things that you are doing. So your level of stress is fairly large throughout the day. Does food tend to serve as a comfort, right? Just when you think about that level of stress, where's your food at? Is that serving as a level of comfort? Because food actually raises the serotonin level in your brain, which is your feel-good chemical. So we feel good. Well, here's the fun part. Remember the mashed potatoes? Heavy comfort foods rob us of energy that make us feel sluggish. However, those also raise your serotonin level, your feel-good chemical. And they can be the solution that you naturally go to calm your nervous system because of the stress of the day. So heavy comfort foods make you feel better temporarily, but then you crash. Is that what happens to you? I know that it happens to me. Do these foods provide you relief or energy, or do they actually make you feel worse, whether it's immediately or an hour or so later when you crash? So foods that give you energy. You have some idea of which foods drain your energy and which foods give you energy, correct? We just made a whole list of them. So where do we get confused in our relationships to food? When is it that you default to low energy foods? Is it when you're tired and stressed because you're trying to raise that serotonin level? Acknowledging that we know how we feel when we eat different foods allows us to start nurturing a healthy relationship towards our body and our food, to train ourselves to feel pulled naturally towards supportive choices versus self-destructive ones. And do this consistently, and you'll be working at a higher frequency. So paying attention and learning to focus helps you to control your state. It helps you to control what you're nurturing your body with and adding foods that add energy to your body, not foods that take it away. Have you ever noticed that a lot of people are walking around kind of like in a fog? They're just kind of going through the motions of life. They're not tapping into that personal power. So let's talk about that. Let's learn to tap into our personal power and then learn which foods give you energy. So tapping into your personal power. We talked about this in our Quit Smoking program. When you are in touch, you'll feel unstoppable. You'll make crystal clear decisions. You'll get focused. You'll be creative and patient and loving and in tune with your body. So your personal power gives you power. It makes you feel in control. It allows you to make good decisions. Tapping into your intuition to feel aligned with every aspect of your life, where you feed yourself high energy foods because you do it because nothing else really would make sense, right? This is an opportunity to live your highest life experience just by paying attention to what you're putting in your body and how you're letting your body feel, where your focus is going, and are you controlling that focus? Tapping into your personal power so you make crystal clear decisions. So this practice, here's a new paradigm. Focus on what you get to eat versus what you don't get to eat. When we always say, I don't get to have cake, then you're going at it from a negative. That's a limiting power. We want you to tap into your personal power and think of things in the positive, okay? So what do you get to have? That's what you want to focus on. I get to have roasted vegetables and salmon and what else am I having tonight? Sweet potatoes with a little bit of brown sugar on it, maybe some cinnamon. Whatever you're making, tap into your personal power and focus on what you get to have versus what you don't get to have. So I want you to work on developing an awareness around the foods that drain your energy versus the foods that give you energy. And start changing that balance. Try and get more foods into your diet that give you energy and less foods that take energy from you. Change the portion sizes. It's not that you can't have those special things that you like. Just slow them down a bit because they're slowing you down. Honoring your hunger and fullness. Okay, so this one's fun. Are you ready for something new? So we talked about what to eat. Which foods give you energy and which foods take energy away, right? How we eat's just as important. Who we're being when we eat. Do you eat when you're not actually hungry? Is it because it's noon and you're supposed to go eat? It's lunchtime? Do you eat too little or too much for your body's energy needs? Some people don't eat enough. Some people eat too much. So there's a balance there. So we need to learn to honor our hunger and fullness. Honoring hunger. How do we honor hunger? Well, we honor hunger is about recognizing what happens internally before you get hungry. Don't wait until you can eat the left side of the menu before you start to eat. That was my mother's favorite statement always. I would like for you to start learning to tune into your internal signal that your body needs nourishment and not let the gas tank get empty and run on red before you get there. Or don't let yourself get to hangry, right? So why do we not want to get to the hangry? Well, because that's when crazy unleashes. We need to start noticing what happens when we're super hungry. Do your eyes glaze over? Do you get all slumpy in your chair? Do you become unreasonable, irritable? You know, who do you take it out on? Is it your family, your friends, your boss, your coworkers? You know, people in an email. I mean, who do you take it out on? Do you end up then eating things that you wouldn't normally choose to eat simply because it's within reach, it's quick, you've got a candy bar or whatever it is, and you're at work because you're desperate. You need to get something in your body. It's impossible to make good decisions when you've let yourself run out of gas. So if you let yourself get too hungry, it's impossible to think clearly. The need to feel physically full becomes so irresistible that you're going to eat almost anything. You're going to eat whatever you can get, a whole bag of chips, a thing of ice cream, you know, whatever you get your hands on. And then after you eat all that, you're still not going to feel satisfied because you really didn't have a meal. You just had a bunch of food that wasn't necessarily good for you. It didn't add energy to your body. It took it away. The body's appetite mechanism is still looking for the meal. And it's not going to stop telling you it needs that meal until you give it a meal, okay? So the first step to recognize hunger is let you know that hunger is going to be there soon. What are the signs? So let's talk about the hunger scale. If you look at this scale over here, we've got a hunger scale, and you start at the bottom, and then number 1, it says you're noticing hunger. So when you get to number 2, you should be planning for hunger, okay? It's time to start thinking about it. You can't wait till you get to number 10 and you're starving, okay? Because at that point, you can eat your arm off. You're going to eat anything you can get. You're not going to make good decisions, and you're still not going to have a meal in most cases. So you want to eat about a 5. So if you're always eating at a 5, if you start planning, you notice your hunger at a 1, you start planning for your food at a 2, you're actually eating that food at a 5, then you need to stop eating about a 7, okay? So if we look at the fullness scale, 10 is when you're so stuffed you can't breathe. Think Thanksgiving Day. A 7 is the level that you don't really want to go past because that's about 75% fullness. You're nourished, you're energized, you're sated, but you're not stuffed. If you stop at the 7, then it takes a few minutes for your body to register that you're full. You know how you'll stop eating at Thanksgiving and about 20 minutes later, you just are like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I ate so much food. There's the example. So you want to stop eating by the 7 so that you only get to the 8 and you never get to that stuffed feeling at a 10. Okay, so learning to honor your hunger and fullness. So the hunger and fullness scale seems very simple. Start planning to eat when you're at a 2 on the hunger scale, right? Stop at a 7, eat high energy foods that your body wants, aim for your intuitive scale at a 7 versus the 10. Make a physical gesture when you're done with the meal. If you're eating with others and you push the plate away, psychologically, the other people saw you do that, so you're not going to like reach and get the plate back and keep eating it. So you push the plate away, lay your napkin over the plate, cross your silverware over the plate. It's a sign that you've completed your meal. You can declare out loud that you've completed the meal. When you do things like that, you're stating you're completed, and you do tend not to go back and continue to eat. Ask the server to take the plate away because you don't want that to sit there that you can pick at it if others are still eating, okay? Another fun thing, when you're eating out, you can ask the server to box up half your meal at the beginning of the meal. If it's never on your plate, you're not going to eat it. You take it home and have it for lunch, or it's a dinner for the following day. But take half the food away at the beginning of the meal. We tend to have very large meals, especially at restaurants. They give us ample food, usually about 3 times what we really are supposed to have. And then at home, another trick for being able to honor your hunger and fullness is have someone else clear the table away and put away the leftovers so that you won't pick at it. Have you ever cleared the table, carried everything in, and there's that one little piece of food from your child's plate that I'm not going to waste that. And so you pop it in your mouth and eat it. Or you're packing up all of the leftovers, what's left in the kitchen, and it's really not enough to make a meal. So you're like, and you just pop it in your mouth. Get someone else to do that. Let somebody else clear away the table and put the leftovers away. That's really nice. That's also a way to clear the clutter from your schedule that, if you're cooking the meal, someone else has to clean up the meal, right? So it allows you to control that. So meal timing and mindful eating tips. So this one's fun. I always like this one. When you're eating, think about in the morning at breakfast, eat like a queen. You want to eat like a queen for breakfast to get your energy going, get your day going good. You want to eat like a king at lunch, meaning you can have a great big huge lunch because you have the whole rest of the day. And then at dinner, you want to eat like a pauper. So your smallest meal of the day is your dinner. So when to eat? Eat within an hour of waking each morning in order to get your metabolism moving. Most people have their meal times are about 4 or 5 hours apart. Some people that are more active and into weightlifting, they actually may need to eat more. So if that's you, I'm sure you're already in tune with your body, so please do that. Complete your last meal or snack 2 hours before bedtime. Try not to eat snacks in bed. And then try to keep your meal times consistent, at least during the work week. Sometimes we can keep consistency all week, and then on the weekends, those consistencies change. So you might have 2 sets, weekday and weekend. And then your hunger scale check-in. At each meal, check in with your hunger scale. Practice eating until you're 75% full. So get yourself to that 7. Notice when you're naturally hungry again after a 75% full meal. Is it 2 hours for you? Or is it 3, 4, or 5? I mean, what is the amount of time? Notice that so that you can then start planning your meals differently so that you're not just eating because it's 12 o'clock, okay, and you're supposed to eat. So that you can plan those meals to be at the time that your body needs to have them. Be mindful and pay attention when you're hungry enough for a meal. Or are you just hungry enough for a snack? Sometimes we'll sit down and eat a whole meal because it's noon, but you're really only hungry enough for a snack. Then have a snack. This will help you discover how many snacks and meals that you should have in your diet. Okay, so did you know that how well we chew our food affects our digestion? This is a really fun question. Can you guess how many times the average person chews a bite of food? Well, believe it or not, it is 3 chews and then we swallow, which means your body has to work really hard to break down that food. The saliva is an important enzyme that helps break down food. It makes it easier to digest and assimilate. It also helps your body to get more nutrients out of the food if it's broken down better and chewed better, right? So we will get more out of our food if it's chewed and able to be broken down quicker, and less will be stored as fat. So during one meal this week, and hopefully, if you've got a family, do it with family, or if you're doing, have friends, others that you can do this with, it's quite fun. During one meal, I want you to count your chews and try and get everybody at the table to chew each bite 10 times before they swallow it. It's a fun exercise, and it really brings up the awareness of how much we just make a couple of chews and swallow. So we need to help our digestion so that we can get the most nutrients out of our food by chewing it thoroughly before we swallow. So have fun. doing that project and see if you can get up to 10 chews. So let's talk about, we talked about breathing in our last program. So real quickly, we're just going to go through a quick breathing technique. We're going to start with a 5-5-7. You should do these each day, 10 times a day. So I want you to practice going through the 5-5-7 breathing method. You breathe in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. You're going to breathe in for the count of 5. You're going to hold for 5, and then you're going to go out for 7. Right now, we're going to go ahead and do it together. We're going to do it 3 times. So let's start. Close your eyes and breathe in through the nose for 5. Hold for 5. Out for 7. Breathe in through the nose for 5. Hold for 5. And out for 7. And then in through the nose for 5. Hold for 5. Out for 7. So how did that feel? Do you feel a little bit of tension gone out of your shoulders? Well, deep breathing increases rational thinking. It helps you to deal with problems and stress. It helps you to relax before bed. And it lets you get rid of that daily tension. So learning to practice deep breathing is such a simple way to reduce your stress. And it'll actually help you to digest your food better if you'll start doing it before your meals. And I'd like for you to practice this each day. You can do it anytime. You can do it sitting at your desk at work. You can do it when you're driving your car. Just don't shut your eyes. You could do it on the ride on the train. If you ride a train, you can do it right after a meal and right before a meal. So your action steps for this week are bumping yourself to top priority, working on noticing your hunger and fullness. You're going to pay attention to foods that give you energy versus foods that take it away. Do this without judgment, only curiosity, so that you can work with them. Okay? Isn't it interesting that I'm choosing to eat X versus Y? Start noticing what you're choosing, and is that adding or taking away from the energy that you feel in your body? I want you to instigate a chewing contest with a friend, spouse, family. Make sure you're doing your breathing. Make sure you're doing your daily hypnosis, as well as your daily motivational speaker. Lastly, let's talk about your ahas. What insights have you gained today? And what appreciations have you discovered? I will see you next week. Have a wonderful week.